Make sure you stick around for Common Agenda coming up next on the Emerson channel.
We've got information on internship opportunities for Larry David, as well as news about Emerson's polling society. One of those is live.
Stick around to see which. Hello, Emersonians and that one student at UConn. I'm your host, Colby Smallzell, and this is the Common Agenda, the show that takes you through the news, upcoming events, and much, much more around Emerson College and Boston. Before we start, I want to give a quick shout out to my family. I miss you guys more than you could even imagine. Why won't you respond to my texts? Let me love you. Okay, now that that's over, let's do the news. Let's kick off the show with good vibes. Tita Popolo, class of '96, was recently on WCVB's TV segment, Boston Strong, which reports on local acts of courage. Popolo was interviewed about her book, Sonia's Ring, 11 Ways to Heal Your Heart. She wrote the book to commemorate her mother after she died in the 9/11 attacks. That just goes to show you that Emersonians are good people, no matter what those Suffolk kids say. More news for fans of writing. The Writing, Literature, and Publishing Association professor Jabari Asim has contributed to Our Boston, Writers Celebrate the City They Love. The anthology pays tribute to the city in the wake of the Boston Marathon bombings and went on sale October 15th. Asim's own essay from the book is titled Transplant. It seems to be a good week for WLPs. Who would have thought there were such superstars in that major? Emerson's polling society is a force to be reckoned with. The student-run organization was credited by Bloomberg News and political blog Daily Cause with having the most accurate predictions in Virginia's November 6th governor race. The polling society collects data via phone surveys and uses the results to predict the winner. Emerson students do know math. Take that, world. There's been a new development in our story on the Emerson Alumni Association Scholarship Auction. As you may know, the Alumni Association holds an auction every year, and it was just announced that Emerson alum Henry Winkler has put himself up for adoption. For the right price, you could win a lunch date with the Fonz himself, or Barry Zuckerkorn if you're so inclined. The auction lasts through December 8th, and this particular offer has a lowest bid of $500. Those interested in learning more about this and the other things up for bid can visit Emerson's page at biddingforgood.com. or can email Director of Alumni Relations at Mary_Ann_CICALA@emerson.edu. Good luck. Finally, all you marketing majors really missed out this past weekend as Vice Chairman of ad agency Arnold Worldwide, Frank Kelly visited Emerson to speak to some graduate students. Those unfamiliar with Kelly's work may know him as the guy who came up with the Drivers Wanted campaign for Volkswagen. Kelly spoke for nearly an hour, giving personal anecdotes about his time in the industry. Man, why do all the MA kids get all the cool meet and greets? Can you still tell I'm bitter about missing Larry David? I'm not over it. Now, let's see what superhuman master of the credits camera, Jamie Sanders, has for us today.
Superhuman master of the credits. I think I'm going to get that on my resume. Anyway, I'm here with Dan Anderson. He's here representing the aptly named Troupe Mercutio. What is Mercutio, Dan Anderson?
Mercutio Troupe is Emerson's repertory-style theater company on campus. It's basically, we got a bunch of writers, directors, actors, a bunch of people thrown together, and we put up shows.
So how long have you been involved with Mercutio personally?
I've been in the troupe only for a year, but I've been working with them, just doing shows for my entire time at Emerson.
Now let's say I'm some random dude technically speaking, who wants to get involved with Mercutio. How would I go about that? Do I have to audition? Or?
Yeah, at the beginning of each semester we have season and troupe auditions. Basically, auditioning for the season is just the shows, and auditioning for the troupe is just to be part of the troupe.
And once you're in the troupe fully, you are in for
you're
life?
In. Once you're in, you're in.
That's super cool.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
And now, you said you worked with them before, so what was the first thing you did with Mercutio?
The first thing I ever did with Mercutio was my first semester here. It was a show called Edmund. It was the first show that actually went up in the Lieber box, so it was pretty fun.
And now I've heard the grapevine, by which I mean you, so not much of a vine, but still, it is grapes. You are doing a play that's coming up soon.
Yeah, I'm directing The Pillow Man. It goes up this Monday the 18th and Tuesday the 19th. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's in the Cabaret at 8 p.m., so people should come check it out.
And now you are an acting major, but you're getting this opportunity to direct, so that's one of the examples of what Mercutio can do for you.
Yeah,
but now,
you can do anything.
What would you say has been one of the biggest challenges in putting up a play?
One of the biggest challenges is probably just learning to take everyone's point of view and throw it in.
But I'm sure Mercutio has helped.
Yeah, definitely.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for coming on to the
Thanks for
show.
having me.
And now it's time to check in with Charlie Brewer for Focus on Film. What are you brewing up for us, Charlie? Is it meatballs? It'll be really funny in a minute, guys. Just watch the segment.
Agenda, Charlie Brewer here, and today the weather is cloudy with a chance of meatballs. Today we're going to be discussing the Film 2 project, The Meatball Factory, which is about a boy forced to work in, you guessed it, a meatball factory. Let's get started.
So The Meatball Factory it's a film about these two kids. It's set in I guess, an Industrial Revolution era factory, and while they're in the factory, the rule is basically they're not allowed to have any fun, they're not allowed to have any sort of interaction. It's supposed to be just a really harsh environment. They end up falling in love and running away together, and that's kind of how our film ends, and they break out of the harsh environment that they're placed in.
So it's a Film 2 project, so you guys had to work on film. So what was that like?
Working on film was a good experience. I'm glad, just as a DP, to be able to have that experience and hopefully get to work with it some more before graduating here. But it has its own challenges, mainly cost. You have to be more efficient. You're balancing money with the amount it takes and time that you have. But it's an interesting dynamic. It really makes you think and plan more, I think, especially for students who don't always do that.
One nice thing that's kind of an artificial limitation of film, but because it is expensive, things usually get planned out really well and it's concise. So instead of shooting a ton of footage like we may have, like if it was digital, I don't have as much like material to dig through. So I think the editing process is actually going to go really smoothly.
We worked with a lot of people who are just starting out in their film or their work here, which was awesome because we had people who are really passionate, and we just did like a little bit of training and working together beforehand, and I think the passion that people brought really worked out. People got really excited about it and ended up being a good time. They could come out to there will be a giant Film 2 screening with all the Film 2s that all the classes are shooting this semester. They'll all be screened at the same time. And yeah, I definitely encourage people, especially people who will someday take the class, to check it out and see what others are doing.
So that was David and Alex of the Meatball Factory. Thanks for coming out, guys.
Hey there, guys. I'm Mariah Terry, and it's time to take a look at the events coming up around Emerson. Let's get started. Let's get started. Technology workshops continue on this week for something for everyone. Those of you looking to add a little extra flair to their special effects in your film project can stop by the Introduction to After Effects workshop in room 418 of Walker at 2 on Friday. If you're looking for more advanced effects or even animation, then the Maya workshop could be the place for you. The class for the 3D modeling program will be on Tuesday at 3 in room 112 of Anson. And lastly, if you're looking to be that kind of artist who focuses more on still or 2D images, then the Introduction to Adobe Illustrator workshop is more your speed. Come and learn to use vectors and create scalable graphics and illustrations at 2 on Monday in room 633 of Walker Building. The Bright Lights screening series is back again, this time showing the comedy Goats, starring David Duchovny, Vera Farmiga, Ty Burrell, Graham Phillips. The movie focuses on Ellis, played by Phillips, and his relationship with the Goat Man, played by Duchovny. He is a hippie goat herder living in the pool house behind where Ellis lives, and he offers the 15-year-old some sage advice. I know what you're thinking, but this is not the biography of Jamie Sanders. Emerson class of 83 graduate and producer of the film, Richard Arlook, will be at the screening for Q&As, as well as actor Caleb Horst. It will be on Tuesday at 7 in the Bright Family Screening Room in Paramount. The Women in Film and Video seminar series continues this Monday with their third lecture in the Massachusetts series. The lecture, hosted by local business agent Chris O'Donnell, will let the audience learn and ask questions about how to advance in their career, particularly when it comes to joining unions. Admission is free, but you must be a member of the organization, which if you aren't, you can join by visiting womeninfilmvideo.org/join. Also, be sure to RSVP by emailing rsvp@womeninfilmvideo.org. The lecture will be on Monday at 7 in the Bright Family Screening Room in Paramount. If you're not spending at least one of your weekdays at 7 in the Bright Family Screening Room, you're doing it wrong. Have you gotten tired of all of those plays with human beings in them? Well, then, as strange as that is of a thing to get tired of, we've got a solution to that very problem. The Kala Marionette Company is visiting the Paramount with their marionette performance of Sleeping Beauty. Basically, it's like watching people perform Sleeping Beauty, but not at all because they're puppets, and that's so much cooler. It's playing now and will run until Sunday at the Paramount, and you can buy your tickets online at artsemerson.org. Seniors, are you starting to fret about what you'll do once you graduate and move away? Are you bitter about hearing this from a freshman tell you on television? Please don't hurt me. Emerson and the Berklee School of Music are hosting a number of networking events for students from both schools moving to different cities. There will also be a guest speaker to give advice, as well as everyone's favorite thing, snacks. The first is this Tuesday at 1 in the Steve Heck Room of 1140 Boylston Street, and will be there for students planning to move to Los Angeles. Future events will be for students planning to move to New York, Nashville, and Boston. The latter, I guess, for people planning on staying? I don't know. Okay, well anyways, now it's time for Carrie Spector's very own segment spoken in a mostly sexy whisper. Weekend in the Bean. Carrie?
The final frontier. For years, we have only been able to view space and planets above through the eyes of the crew members of the USS Enterprise. But here in Boston, we're able to do much more. Hello, I'm Carrie Spector, and this week on Weekend in the Bean, we are standing in an observatory at the Museum of Science in Boston. What's it about? Well, we're gonna check that out.
We are standing in the lobby of the Charles Hayden Planetarium at the Museum of Science, and my name is Katie. I run our rooftop observatory, the Gilliland Observatory, that takes place. You can come up for free stargazing every Friday between 8:30 and 10 p.m. on the roof of the museum. So what we've got up there is that we've got a actual large scope telescope. It's a Schmidt-Cassegrain, which means there's a lot of mirrors basically that bounce back and forth the image. It's an 11-inch diameter, and we can see planets, we can see messier objects, distant star clusters, sometimes a different galaxy, and all of those things are usually close to impossible to see in Boston because of the light pollution. But on the roof of our parking garage, we're slightly above some of the light pollution, and then we've got the help, of course, of a telescope. The thing I'm most excited about right now is that Jupiter's coming back. So we'll start to see Jupiter again in the sky. We've gone several months, almost a year, with no Jupiter in the nighttime sky at least. But now we got Jupiter coming back. So starting around 9:30 p.m. tonight, Jupiter will be rising up in the east, and we're hoping to see it tonight on our telescope. And for the next couple times we're open, we only run through the Friday before Thanksgiving. We usually don't run during the winter, except for a couple special events once in a while. If, for instance, the comet Ison is coming, and that's a really big deal right now. This huge comet, you may have heard of this thing. It's passing by the sun pretty soon, and if it doesn't melt away, then when it swings back around in December, we're hoping to have a special open night for that.
So there you have it, Emerson students. Remember to come to the Museum of Science in Boston. Check out the observatory every Friday night till Thanksgiving. That's all for me. Carrie, out. See you guys next week.
Well, that's about all the time we've got for you today. For all of us at Common Agenda, I'm Colby Smallzell, and I hope that this has been entertaining and informative. Really, I hope I've changed your life forever. I'm sure I did. You hear that, Dad? I'm making a difference. Stay tuned. Tune in on Tuesday for more of Common Agenda. Once again, I'm Colby Smallzell, signing off.